Hello, this is Richard Wilson with the Family Office Club, and I'm here this morning with Barry. Welcome, Barry.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for being here. So, what type of an investor or investment firm do you operate?
I am a single family office, physician by training, practiced medicine in the 80s to 90s. Single family office based in Boca Raton, Florida, and New York City.
Okay, great. And as a single family office, what does your investment mandate scope look like?
It has changed dramatically since the pandemic. I think the number one thing that I have changed is shorten my duration, where I used to be very patient and let things go out 5, 7, 10 years. I'm really shortened my duration to 3 to 5 years. So I took a little bit of the liberty to write down some of the geographic areas and some of the things that I'd like to look at. I'm very bullish in the United States. Europe, I'm an investor in presently and will continue to invest into Europe. I do sit on the board with the LG Electronic family in Seoul, Korea. So Korea, I have many investments. Probably 30% of my investments are based in Seoul, Korea presently. India, as you read in Bloomberg, is the new China. So I focus in India. I've been an investor in India for the last 7 years and will continue to do such. And then Israel, on the technology side, which is really one of my big focuses, technology coming out of Israel. More specifically, if you'd like me to be, 75% of my investments are direct investments. 25% are in fund structures. I have a very resonating thesis, which is I try to, and I would have to say probably 90% of my investments are with other families that are industry experts.
Okay.
It's worked out very well for me because A, the deal flow that comes from them is off-market deal flow and ideas. B, they know where to sell it and who to sell it to. So the exits usually turn out to be much, much greater for me. Co-investments with other families is clear. As far as what I'm investing in now, and this may change in the next couple of months, but being that I'm a physician, I like the digital health space. I am an investor in telemedicine for many, many years in the EMR space. AI, machine learning within medicine and within other areas that we all know are very important for me. And a lot of people use that AI term, but there's really, you have to drill down on it to see what that artificial intelligence is. New to me is AR and VR. So I'm an early investor in Oculus. I'm working with a few people in Korea now on giving a virtual experience, whether it be through meditation or through concerts through AR and VR, especially with the 5G network. Education, I think, should be a common theme for everybody right now because education is going to change in this world. Mm-hmm. Medical devices, again, being a physician, that's a specialty to me, especially when it comes to physical spine issues. And then on the real estate space, I've been a very big investor in real estate for many years and created a lot of wealth from that. Now all I'm looking at is industrial and warehouses, which would be for logistics, fulfillment centers, which I think we saw the supply chain break down, and I think there's an opportunity there. Venture capital, short duration, secondaries, e-commerce are just some of the scattered other areas. So that's the common theme that I have. I've also changed my size of my investments, which were prior to January 3 to 5 million. Now they're 1 to 3 million. I have not done a single investment since the end of January. I am looking at a lot of ideas, concerned about valuations not changing globally, concerned about the market, the public equity market globally. Speak to very smart people on a regular basis. They're just as concerned as I am, and they're much smarter than me. So we can't help what's happening and why that's happening. So those are hope that answers some of the questions for you on what I'm looking for.
Appreciate that. And out of all of that, what's your number one investment goal for 2020 in terms of the best type of deal flow? Because of your background, you could move the fastest, most conviction, conduct most of the own due diligence yourself, and you want to pull the trigger on that one thing.
Yeah, so in the telemedicine space and AI specifically, because I deal with, the insurance companies quite a bit, and I see that there's a lot of misuse in physicians' offices, and I being one of them, not that I did it, but the unnecessary testing, which is then costing people additional, insurance premiums. So AI within that insurance space is really what I'm focusing in. And then the number one resonating theme, 2020 will not be appropriate, but everybody is looking for is distressed commercial real estate, which will probably be 21, 22. We don't know. So I'm trying to learn and meet the right people in that industry sector rather than try to do it on my own. If that answers your question.
Right. Like a special servicer or the right banks and all of those types, right? Great. And then what's your number one piece of investment advice after all the deals that you've negotiated, the success that you've had? Obviously you learn from investments going well and not well. So what's your number one piece of advice you want to share?
So I think that, I have a full staff. I have a CIO. I have a co-CIO. I have analysts. I like to take the first call with everybody. I love to meet people face to face because I can really read people very well. I've been blessed with that for myself. So, industry expertise, there's no question in my mind, finding somebody who's done it for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, the family's been in steel, infrastructure, aerospace, whatever, real estate, that to me is number one. Finding a differentiator. What makes you different than everybody else who's doing multifamily or acoustic AI? I'd like to understand why you're different. It's very important. If they can't articulate that to me, then I usually will walk away from a deal. Validating, references. I always check references. So if I'm going to invest with you, I'm going to say, can you introduce me to 3 or 4 other families that have invested with you as LPs or GPs? And I want to understand why they invested. So that's kind of, for me, it's very, very important to I'm betting on the individual, and I like the people that have been in the industry for a long period of time, and that helps me make a quick decision.
Great. Appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll get some connections through our family office club to plant some new seeds and hopefully bring some of that distressed commercial real estate to you sometime, maybe Q4 this year or next year. We'll also have some virtual summits coming up later this year. Maybe there's one of those that line up your schedule just for a short standalone talk or discussion panel. So appreciate your time here today, and I'm happy to keep in touch here over the next couple of quarters.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
Sure. Thank you, Barry. Take care.